Welcome to Kingdom Treasures. Imagine a life shaped by miracles and trials. A story filled with moments of bravery, love, regret, betrayal, and redemption. This is the complete story of Moses, one of the most iconic figures in human history. From his miraculous birth to his divine calling, and ultimately to his death, Moses' journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Moses was born during a time of immense peril for the Hebrews in Egypt. Pharaoh, fearing the growing population of Hebrew slaves, decreed that all newborn Hebrew males were to be killed. Exodus 1:22. Families across the land were thrown into despair, grappling with this terrifying command that sought to decimate an entire generation of their people. Parents were faced with an agonizing choice: comply with the brutal decree or find a way to save their children at the risk of certain punishment. The heavy atmosphere of fear and sadness pervaded every corner of the Hebrew community. In an act of desperate love and faith, Moses' mother placed him in a basket and set him adrift on the Nile River. Exodus 2:3. The gentle flow of the river carried the small basket through the reeds and along the currents, a tiny vessel of hope for the future. As his mother watched the basket float away, her heart ached with uncertainty and prayers for her baby's safety. Despite the perilous journey, the basket remained intact, protected by what seemed like a divine shield against the perils of the Nile. The basket was discovered by none other than Pharaoh's daughter, who took pity on the baby and decided to raise him as her own. Exodus 2:5-10. Her compassionate heart moved her to defy her father's decree, granting Moses a life of privilege within the royal palace. This unexpected twist of fate not only saved Moses' life, but also intertwined his destiny with the very family that sought to destroy him. Raised as a prince of Egypt, Moses grew up with both the luxury of the palace and the hidden knowledge of his true heritage. Moses grew up amidst the grandeur and opulence of Egyptian royalty. Yet, despite being raised in Pharaoh's household, he never forgot his Hebrew roots. The oppression and suffering of his people deeply troubled him. One fateful day, witnessing an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, Moses intervened and killed the Egyptian. Exodus 2:11-12. Realizing that his actions had not gone unnoticed, Moses fled Egypt to escape Pharaoh's wrath. He sought refuge in Midian, where he married Zipporah, the daughter of a Midianite priest, and started a family. Exodus 21. It seemed like Moses had found a new life far away from the turmoil of Egypt, but his destiny was far from being fulfilled. While tending to his father-in-law's flock near Horeb, Mount Sinai, Moses encountered a sight that would change his life forever: a burning bush that was not consumed by the flames. Exodus 3:2. As Moses approached the bush, intrigued by this miraculous phenomenon, he heard the voice of God calling out to him from within the flames. God revealed his divine plan, instructing Moses to become the leader who would guide the Israelites out of their bondage in Egypt. Exodus 3:4. Despite his initial reluctance and deep feelings of inadequacy, Moses expressed concerns about his ability to fulfill such a monumental task. He feared he lacked the eloquence and influence necessary to confront Pharaoh and lead the people. However, God reassured Moses, promising that he would be with him every step of the way, providing the support and miraculous signs needed to convince both the Israelites and the Egyptians of his divine authority. Exodus 4:12. These assurances fortified Moses' resolve, setting him on the path of his destiny as one of the most pivotal figures in biblical history. This encounter with the burning bush marked the beginning of a journey filled with miracles, trials, and ultimate triumph, as Moses' leadership would eventually lead to the liberation of his people and the receiving of the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. Moses presented several objections to God, citing his lack of eloquence and fear of rejection by the Israelites. In response, God provided Moses with signs to demonstrate his power, turning Moses' staff into a snake, making his hand leprous, then healing it, and turning water from the Nile into blood. Armed with divine authority, Moses and Aaron confronted Pharaoh multiple times with demands to let the Israelites go free. Each refusal by Pharaoh resulted in a new plague upon Egypt: water turning to blood, frogs, gnats, flies, livestock disease, boils, hailstorms, locusts, darkness, and finally, the death of every firstborn Egyptian male. Before the final plague struck Egypt, God instructed the Israelites to mark their doorposts with lamb's blood, so that the angel of death would pass over their homes. This event became known as Passover. After losing his own firstborn son in this final plague, Pharaoh relented and allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt. However, he soon changed his mind and pursued them with his army. In one of the most dramatic moments in biblical history, God parted the Red Sea for the Israelites to cross safely before drowning Pharaoh's pursuing forces. The journey through the wilderness was fraught with challenges for Moses and the Israelites. Despite witnessing numerous miracles firsthand, the parting of the Red Sea among them, the people frequently complained about their hardships. They grumbled about food shortages and thirsted for water in desolate places. In response to their complaints about food, God provided manna, a type of bread from heaven that appeared each morning on the ground like dew. When they tired of manna alone, God sent flocks of quail for meat. As for water shortages, one notable miracle involved Moses striking a rock at God's command to bring forth water at Rephidim. The most significant event during their wilderness journey was when Moses ascended Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments from God. These commandments formed the foundation of Israelite law and established a covenant between God and his people. The moment was so sacred that Mount Sinai was enveloped in smoke and fire as God's presence descended upon it. Moses' life is replete with lessons on faith, leadership, obedience, humility, and perseverance. His unwavering commitment to fulfilling God's will despite numerous obstacles serves as an inspiration for us all. Reflect on how these lessons can be applied in your own life. Stories like that of Moses are not just historical accounts. They are timeless narratives that resonate through generations. Share this incredible story with your friends and family so they too can be inspired by Moses' journey from slavery to freedom. If you found this account of Moses' life inspiring and insightful, make sure to subscribe to Kingdom Treasures for more such stories from biblical history that offer wisdom and inspiration for today's world. Hit that subscribe button now and become part of our growing community. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the life of Moses. Until next time.